Hi everyone, it's Marisa, the founder of Lupus Chick, and today I'm going to talk about something I never thought I'd make a video about. And if you're a guy, you probably will want to click off this video right about now because we're going to be talking about menstruation. But it's a really important topic. I wish someone would have had this conversation with me like 17 years ago when I was first diagnosed with lupus. So just, I was diagnosed at the age of 23. So actually I'm going into my 18th year with lupus, but I was sick for way longer before I was diagnosed. So something I did not realize until I started journaling everything. Like shortly after, a couple years after I was diagnosed, I started keeping journals about basically every day, how much I slept, what I ate, what symptoms I was having, what medicine I took, what doctor I was seeing, what my blood tests were, different stressors that were in my life that were maybe affecting different things, if food was affecting things. But I didn't realize how all of this sort of came together until I was able to look at these journals over periods of time and see. And one thing I noticed, like clockwork, was 2 or 3 days before I was supposed to get my period, I was a disaster. I could be fine, like literally 4 or 5 days before. And when I say fine, I mean living my normal, which, I was already like having fevers and pain and whatnot. But it was like it was multiplied by 100 in those 2 or 3 days and the day of my actual period. And once I started Lupus Chick and social media started growing over the past, decade, 12, 15 years, and more people started talking about this, we realized, like, we're not crazy. There's actually something happening here right before our period. So it's really common for people that have, for women that have lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, and other autoimmune diseases to see an increase in their pain and their fatigue levels. And it's really different for everyone, but those are ones that I hear about a lot. Specifically, they're in more pain and they have severe fatigue. And it's believed through research from different doctors I've spoken to and things that I've researched that this has to do with our estrogen. So your estrogen hormone level really dips right before your period. And it's believed that estrogen is sort of like this protector when it comes to pain in our body. And it rises right before you're going to give birth if you're having a child, and then it dips again. So you might hear that some women are diagnosed with different autoimmune diseases after a pregnancy because a lot of symptoms come out sometimes when that estrogen dips. So anyway, also, I should have said this at the beginning. I apologize. I am not a medical doctor. I'm just giving you my own experience. Many moons ago, I did go to nursing school. I am not a nurse right now. I've actually worked as a health journalist for over a decade as my health allows. But I love medicine. I love learning about the body. And I was always really intrigued about how we could, sort of be living our normal. And then there's just such a spike in issues the 2 or 3 days before your menstruation. So for me, it was like this switch sort of went off. I would all of a sudden have this crushing fatigue to the point where like I couldn't even get myself to get into the shower, let alone like get downstairs and like cook something or whatnot. And this would last until the period would actually start. And then by the second day, I usually started to feel a little bit better. And for me, it was always my fevers would increase, my pain would increase, and the fatigue was absolutely the worst. And over time, I realized this connection, and then I sort of prepared myself every month. So I knew that I shouldn't make a lot of plans in those 2 or 3 days. Hopefully, if you're someone that can really track your period with like an app or a calendar and you're somewhat regular, you can sort of time things. Like I knew not to make a lot of doctor's appointments in those days, or to really say yes to a lot of different like events or whatnot. If it was a season of life where I was able to do some work and, I had that ability to work remotely, I would sort of do, ask if I could do that. It's different for everyone. But these are just some of the lifestyle choices that I chose to make over time because I really couldn't function in those first, few days. So now here I am. I'm 41 years old, and very personal sharing, but I'm in early menopause, so I do not obviously get my period anymore. It's very random, like once a year, and those symptoms have, they just don't happen anymore. Now, I might get them if I'm in a lupus flare-up for other reasons, but I got to tell you, it's really nice not dealing with that. So obviously, early menopause comes with its whole other set of issues, and hot flashes are no joke. I remember people in my family would have them when I was younger, and I was like, what is happening? Like, they're acting so weird, and they're red all of a sudden, and it's really how it happens. Like, it just comes like on out of nowhere. I turn like bright red, and I like start like ripping my shirt off, and thank God we layer up here in the north. So and I'll go walk outside for a minute, because especially like right now, it's -2 tonight. So it's great if you have a hot flash, you can just step outside for a second. So anyway, if you are having symptoms like right before your period, I just want you to know that you're not alone. A lot of women deal with it that have autoimmune disease. You're definitely not crazy. You're not a hypochondriac. And the reason I say these things is because if we mention these things to certain people and they don't understand, sometimes we can be talked to or looked at like there's something wrong with us, and that's not the case. It's a proven fact that some women do experience an increase in different flare-up or different symptoms right before their period. So you can talk to your doctor. For me personally, because lupus affects my blood and I've had blood clots and small strokes and things like that, being on birth control was not an option for me. And there are some gynecologists that I've spoken to over the last 17 years that absolutely will not put anyone on lupus on birth control. And then I've talked to some that say, like, if there is no blood involvement and depending on how severe the lupus is, they have put some people on birth control, so that can obviously help with some period issues or help your period not come for a while. So definitely speak to your doctor if it's something that you deal with. I just really wanted to make this video so that if you don't already know or you aren't aware that this can actually happen right before your period, it can. So there's lots of things online you can read up about it. Definitely speak to your doctor. If you have any questions, let me know. You can reach out to me on lupuschick.com. Just send an email through there, and it comes literally directly to my phone. And you can also check us out on Facebook or Instagram. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do. We have some amazing interviews coming up with people that I think you're definitely going to want to hear, and I plan on making videos regularly, so I hope that they are helpful to you. Anyway, that's it for now. Take care.